I left catering for cooking classes, and I want to tell you why. So I remember it was early in my business, and it was one of those things where you start your business, you want to be in entrepreneurship, you don't want to work for somebody else, you want to be in food, so you do what a lot of people do, which is you go into catering because you're like, okay, I can be my own boss, I get to cook, the money's great, all that kind of stuff, and it was like I got to be my own boss. Catering can be extremely lucrative, so shout out to the people who love catering. I realized very quickly that catering was not for me. I live in Texas. I did not enjoy schlepping hot boxes around in 110-degree weather. I didn't enjoy the fact that most of my catering events were on the evenings and weekends. It was one of the things that I did not want to do in the culinary industry was work nights and weekends all the time. And then I also really didn't enjoy the fact that I was cooking a lot of the same things over and over and over again because people would book their favorites. And I didn't like the fact that I had to wait until other people were hosting at events for me to be able to earn income. Like I had to wait around for people to host events, right? We saw this happen to people during the pandemic. And so I remember like even at one point when I was working for a catering company, okay, and the owner of that company was like, listen, when I don't work, I don't get paid. And he wanted to retire. And I remember him asking me, he was like, Evelyn, do you want to buy my catering company from me? Like, I'll sell you the equipment, I'll pass on my contracts to you. You can take over the lease on this kitchen, and like, this can be your business. And I remember, like, while that sounded tempting to be handed a business that was making money, I remember playing the movie and I was like, if I do this, I'm going to be in the same position he is when I get to that point, right? Like where if I'm not working, I'm not making money, and then what am I going to do when I retire? And so I remember when I first started teaching cooking classes, and I started making just as much in cooking classes where I was teaching and not cooking than I was with a catering job, right? And that I could do it in the daytime. I could do it online. I didn't have to wait till somebody was hosting an event. I could make passive income. I could make recurrent income. I could do all these things with cooking classes. This catering never allowed me to do, and I didn't have to do it on nights and weekends if I didn't want to. I didn't have to have a big list. I could do it in my client's home. There were so many different ways that I could leverage cooking classes, and so I was sold. So I left catering and was like, this is it for me. And if you're someone who you've been catering, you're like, it's been real. Thanks. It was profitable, but I'm ready to do something else. And that something else is cooking classes. Then I want you to join me for cooking classes from scratch. It's coming up soon. All the details are either in the comments or details below this video, or you can comment scratch below and I will send you the details to register.